This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
Turn Up Tuesday.
Turn Up Tuesday.
It is all about some news right now.
Quickie, what is in the news? What is in the news?
Yes, there's a whole lot.
There's a lot.
There's some
news.
Recaps from
You want to give us
previous.
You want to give us the recaps first?
You know, soon as I told y'all about the Tennessee couple, it was basically a couple days later, they found them, and we were both wrong. We both guessed horrible things, and it was the simplest explanation.
What was it?
They were lost in the Alaskan
They had
wilderness.
They didn't
Only
update their
2 miles.
They didn't update their Google Maps.
I guess not. 360 was not locating them. They were only 2 miles off, like, from where they were parked, and I think they were missing for, like, I don't know, 5 days total, maybe.
Did they just go the wrong path and they didn't go the same way back? Or we don't know. We don't know.
Listen, I don't hike. I especially don't hike trails I don't know. I'll go and do Cameron Park trails, but
I mean, surely they had a map.
I don't know. Maybe they were just winging it.
Maybe they wanted.
Okay.
Maybe they wanted to live off the land. They were searching for the
couldn't.
mushrooms,
And they couldn't. So they were found. Another hiker found them, and so now they were disoriented. So I guess happy ending. But I do have to shout out to their friend. I think one of her good friends ended up speaking like a day or two later, and
she shout out the podcast.
No.
Oh.
No, they'll listen to our podcast and they'll be pissed at us because we accuse them of some shit. But we told them don't judge us for that. But this friend was like, I'm not going to give dirty details, but they were on again, off again. I don't think there was any foul play. They have to be lost. Like she was not going to point a finger at anybody, which don't let one of my friends go missing because I'm just going to be like, so-and-so did it. And so-and-so did it. Or they're guilty. And then the Antonio Armstrong Jr. trial is officially over with. So think back to the spring, I believe. We covered in a Quickie the story about the former NFL football player and his wife were shot in their sleep in their bed in their condo in Houston, and their son, 16-year-old son at the time, was arrested for it. There was a lot of question whether he did it or not because there was another sketchy stepson that people thought he might have done it. And then information came out that that Antonio, the daddy Antonio, was part of a prostitution ring, him and his partner, and within months of each other, they both were dead. So Antonio got killed, and then the partner got killed by a hit and run, and they never found the person that hit him. So they're both dead. Their gym was broken into. So anyways, there was 3 trials, or 4. The first 2 were mistrials. They were hung jury. They could not come to a conclusion. And this DA was adamant to get this little boy, Antonio Armstrong, who's not a little boy anymore, convicted. And so they've been in trial for a couple weeks. Jury deliberated and found guilty, and he's sentenced for the rest of his life in prison. There's already an appeal. And so it's like, man, there's an uproar a little bit in Houston because there's a lot of people who don't think that he did it, and think that this DA lady was just trying to save her job, because you take this to trial 3 times and it's hung, you're going to lose your position as a district attorney. So there's that. I don't know where to go with it. I don't know. That was one of the ones that I go back and forth. Kids kill their parents all the time. I don't know if he did it.
I don't know either. I feel like he did, but I don't know who else. So that's why I'm just going with him. It's the logical thing. Yeah. Yep.
There's really no good evidence that kind of points to anybody else besides, their gym got broken into, their computers got stolen, they were involved in this prostitution ring, like they were involved in some sketchy stuff.
I'm telling you, prostitution ring.
Maybe somebody else could have done it, but
it's never good. It never ends well.
Yeah, no.
Never really ends well.
Especially when everybody thought you were a deacon at your church.
Even worse.
Yeah.
It's always the deacons.
It's always the church.
Yeah.
Not every church, but,
It just seems to happen a lot, and it's just so unsettling.
What you got?
Well, I got multiple things. Let's see. We got an Idaho 4 Kohberger update. And it's they did a bunch of motions the other day, and then they had all these different dates scheduled out for September 1st, September 8th, September 15th, have all the witnesses ready, have all this ready, have all this ready. And the trial was going to start in October. And so they had a motion hearing, or a status hearing, I think, whatever it was, a couple days ago. And the defense and Kohberger finally waived the right to a speedy trial, meaning they obviously need more time to prepare. Like, there's no way anybody thought that this trial was going to happen this soon. And so that this basically tacks on at least 6 more months. So, it probably won't happen till the middle of 2024, end of 2024, maybe 2025 is what I've heard from some other lawyers. So he's, let's see, on September 1st, I don't know what day this comes out. They are supposed, and Ann Taylor, the defense attorney for Kohberger, has requested a motion for no cameras in the courtroom.
No, Taylor, don't do it. This will be my first trial I'll ever watch, hopefully.
The issue is we have this court TV guy doing this camera, and they've told them in the beginning, don't just focus it on Kohberger. When somebody, just have it focus on either who's talking, if there's some witness talking, the judge talking. You don't just always zoom in on him.
Yeah.
And then they would zoom in on him. So they're ruining it for us.
Yeah.
So we're just, hopefully we can stay. It's Idaho, and they get real. Well, they had Gwyneth Paltrow's on, and that was Utah. Well, Utah and Idaho are basically the same. They basically morphed. So that's really just the latest. On the Kohberger. So we're going to have to wait and just wait and wait and wait.
Enough waiting.
Then we have an update on old Sarah Boone, suitcase killer. She's supposed to have her trial like in February, but
so
it's
over
already
her.
August. So she has gone through, I think she's on her 6th attorney. And now this attorney has submitted a letter to the judge that he wants to withdraw from being her, which he's already said this. He does not want to be her attorney. And now he's officially wrote the judge a letter citing irreconcilable differences. It's like they're divorcing. And he said that the defendant will not be satisfied with any attorney unless said attorney does not have a caseload and can dedicate his or her time solely to Miss Boone's case.
Wow.
And he's like, he said, I think the best possible solution is to have the defendant represent herself.
Yes,
because
thought about
no
that.
attorney can satisfy her. And apparently she calls him and he doesn't answer, and she only has one of his 2 phone numbers. I mean, I'm sure she bugs the shit out of him.
Oh, I would hate it.
And he's like, well, I'm like I'm in a murder trial right now, which you have to obviously give. I don't know his side. We only know what she's been telling us. So it's like, are you really not answering her phone calls? Are you really just ignoring her? Or is she just like, but I mean, this is number 6. So it seems
she's the common denominator. It's you, Sarah. It's you.
Sarah, it's you. You're the problem. It's you. Like, look, man, if you're just going to continue writing these letters and being crazy and
just represent yourself.
Just do it. Just pull a Daryl Brooks and just do it for us.
Yeah, that'd be a good show.
The trial is still currently scheduled for October 2nd.
Oh, that was supposed to be.
Well,
Idaho's.
I mean, I know. Yeah, I know. We're about to be real busy in October.
Oh gosh.
But she's being held without bond. I'm sure this will change if who knows. So currently it has not been rescheduled. I haven't heard anything from the judge. So there's that one. Let me, where do you want to go? BTK or Rachel Morin? We'll
end with BTK.
Okay, let's end with BTK. Rachel Morin. This is last week who called her Tiffany. And I was talking about she was murdered on a trail out in Washington, Maryland, Bel Air, Maryland. So 37-year-old mother of 5, this girl, Rachel Morin. She had kids the ages of 8 to 18, 3 different dads. Kids are all with the dads now. August 1st, her boyfriend, Richard Tobin, had announced on Facebook that they were in a relationship. And then on August 5th, he reported she was missing around midnight. So this guy, her boyfriend, Richard.
Wait, when did he put it on Facebook?
He put on Facebook they were in a relationship August 1st.
Okay, so it lasted 4 days.
And then she went missing 4 days later.
Wow.
And now a word from our sponsors.
All right, if you love smoothies or if you love your protein in the morning, you need to get you a Blend Jet. You can do that if going to blendjet.com. If you enter the code BHH12, you get a discount. And let me tell you, these things are portable. They are easy to use. They can fit in your cup holder. You can have it at home or you can have it in your office like I do. Right this morning, I had my blueberry banana one
How was
with
it?
some chia seed.
Wasn't chunky or anything?
It was very smooth. When I have it in my shaker, it is a little chunky. So this is a great alternative.
I love it.
It is battery powered, so all you have to do is plug it in every 2 weeks, and the battery never runs down.
Oh my gosh. I love battery powered things.
Go to BlendJets and order you a BlendJet and get a discount.
Thanks, April, for sharing. He has a history of 2 arrests for criminal second-degree assault, malicious destruction of property, drug possessions, and violating a restraining order. He also has 20 charges previously filed against him in Maryland, also including resisting arrest, disorderly intoxication. This guy's been going on Facebook.
Sounds
and
swipe
he'll make like all these posts, and then he'll delete the post, and then he'll make a post and then delete a post. So one of the posts he made was, I love Rachel. I would never do anything to her. Let the family and I grieve. Yes, I have a past, but I also have 15 months clean, and have changed as a person. Please.
What's he clean of?
I guess drugs.
Oh, but we don't know what kind.
Yeah, he just said, am 15 months clean, but you're not changed. But I'm letting you, he's still in the clear at this point. So he's been cooperating with police. He's turned over his phone. He's given DNA. But Rachel was a frequent, she did a lot of tanning.
Okay. Oh,
frequent
yeah.
tanning.
I remember those pictures.
And the people at the tanning salon, apparently she would go daily.
Oh, it's good. Great for your skin.
And they, obviously, if she's there every day, the people know her, And so they said that she was on multiple dating sites. But maybe she just got in the relationship and she was just still on these dating sites. I don't know. So she was spotted on this trail around 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And that was on August 5th. Okay. So these people see her, and it's either like 3 guys and 2 girls and a dog. Okay. This is the people that saw her. And then this one guy, he calls and he says that they actually found her body. Okay.
Wait, where are we again? At a park? In a trail?
We are on the Mon Paw Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. And so all of a sudden she's missing, and then people are looking for her. And then around 6:30, 7:30, there are witnesses. They say they might have seen her. And then this random guy named Michael Grabinski, whatever. He says he is a search and rescue specialist who has never walked the trail before, and that he and his stepdaughter searched for only an hour after people have been searching for a few days. They searched for an hour, but he felt compelled to check the drainage tunnels. And he had a vision of tunnels.
Oh. And
now this guy, you would look at him and you would judge him. He got a few missing teeth. It sounded a little sketch. It looks maybe like he lives in a tent.
In the drainage tunnel.
I think that might be his tunnel. So he said he noticed some disturbances on the trail. And so that's where he looked. And he said that his stepdaughter found the body. He said Cecilia was the first person to see the body. She was hyperventilating, really, and he's given this interview to somebody. He is interviewing. He has not told this to police. The news people are there, and he's telling this to the news people first. She was hyperventilating really, really bad, and then police told her to sit down. When she sat down, she realized she was sitting in a pool of blood.
Oh,
excuse me, sir. Are you hot? Like, you're just, how do you not? She was just sitting in this blood pool. She had no idea. Okay. And they said that that Rachel was laying on her back. She was fully naked. She had brutal trauma, and it looked like her head had been smashed in with a rock. There was a 15 to 20 foot blood trail. So it looked like she'd been beaten and dragged into that position. And they said it looks like the killer was trying to erase her identity, and the right side of her face was gone. The injuries were so horrific that there won't be an open casket at the funeral. These are all quotes. This is what this guy, this Michael Grabinski with missing teeth who lives in the tunnel, this is his interview. And they're like, and so then police finally talk to them. They're like, could you not? Tell us these things.
Yeah.
Don't go interview. You're giving away so much information about this case. So then people are believing him. They're not believing him, but they found the body, and that's what the body looks like. And Then there was this, it's connected to this guy who was on this Ring video who like from 6 months ago. So apparently they're looking for this random guy who did a home invasion. They have a Ring video of like the side profile of his face and the back of his head, and for him like walking out of the door. Random guy, they don't even know his name. So the boyfriend is not, I mean, I'm sure everybody's a suspect, but he's still like
not arrested,
working with, or like being
actively investigated.
Yeah. And he's still cooperating. He's still cooperating with them. So we have these, and they haven't found anybody, but the police said, I think it was an interview yesterday, they're like, we have to find this, whoever did this person will kill again. So it's not safe out there.
I don't know. It seems real personal.
I know. But then, okay, if she's, it could be that you got to look at her because she's very made up. She has like really big lip fillers, and she has real like fake boobs, and she's like good looking. She's wearing her little Lulu clothes out there on that trail. So, and she's pretty petite, blonde hair. I mean, anybody could have been following her if they knew if she went and ran daily, or they could have gotten her schedule. So somebody could have been following her, stalking her, and attacked her. I don't know how, I guess people couldn't tell. What if they did drag her from that tunnel? So this tunnel, it's like a big tunnel that you can like ride your bike through. Yeah. I mean, when I heard tunnel, I was thinking like one of those swampy tunnels.
They have a bunch of those like out at Cameron Park, and so you run through them, you can ride your bike through them, and it gets really dark, but people usually just go in and like graffiti them.
Yeah.
They're like through, I mean, you go through them in a lot of the races, so I can see how for a minute you go in there, you can't see much around you, but you come out in 10 seconds. But somebody must have been waiting in there for
Somebody had been waiting, so that's what we know now, and we'll keep an eye on it.
But look at all these potential suspects, 3 baby daddies who could all very well have a motive. And if she was actively dating, so they are going to have to dig into her love life.
And was she like talking to somebody, and then they found out she was in a relationship on Facebook from that guy that posted about it, and then got real mad?
And then the guy that found her.
Real sketch.
That's sketchy.
This guy, he had ponytail, he had giant rings on all of his fingers, real skinny guy. Yeah. So I don't know. There's got to be more that we don't know.
Which one would make the most sense? It's always the simplest.
I mean, I know. I go with the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or he hired somebody to do it, but I mean, I don't. Unless it could have been baby daddy.
Yeah, I'd like to know what kind of
but a lot
parenting there was going on. Co-parenting.
Well, yep. Is that loud? I have a Michael Orr update.
Okay.
So here is maybe a little bit of the. Okay, let's just start from here. Michael filed a petition in probate court. Okay. He claimed that he was tricked into signing the document, making the Tuohys his conservatives. Is this the part you said or not? Okay. So I'm going to go over that real fast. So he says that, made the Tuohys his conservators and not his adoptive family. They gave him legal authority to make business deals in his name, like you said. But he complains that he never received any payments from the blind side, right? So he says that he was lied to by the Tuohys. They enriched themselves at his expense and blah, blah, blah. The Tuohys have denied this. And they said that he was well aware of the nature of the legal relationship, that it was a conservatorship, and that it was not an adoption, as he was 18 and they split the money 5 ways, like between all the members of the family. So in 2011 is when he wrote his first book. And in this book, he wrote that he had entered into a conservatorship and he didn't really care because it meant that he knew he was part of their family. Here is the quote. Since I was already over the age of 18 and considered an adult by the state of Tennessee, Sean and Leanne would be named my legal conservators. They explained to me it pretty much means the exact same thing as adoptive parents, but that the laws were just written in a different way that took my age into account. Honestly, I didn't care what it was called. My mother was going to be at the hearing to agree that she supported the decision to have the Tuohys listed as my next of kin and legal conservators.
And that's exactly what the Tuohys said, like when they came out.
So,
verbatim.
Yes. So it sounds like that this is driven, like he's at a crossroad in his life. He's 37. He no longer plays football. And apparently in his newly released book, he's written that he struggled with his job and his career and his depression. So maybe this is some kind of petition. It's more like of a publicity campaign
For his book?
For his new book. And maybe he even wants to conjure up some kind of Netflix documentary, like maybe like to enrich himself or enrich his brand. And then the Tuohy's attorney came out with a statement. So this statement is, quote, the notion that a couple worth hundreds of millions would connive to withhold a few $1,000s in profit participation payments from anyone, let alone from someone they loved as a son, defies belief. In reality, the Tuohys opened their home to Mr. Orr, offering him structure, support, and most of all, unconditional love. They've consistently treated him like a son and one of their 3 children. His response was to threaten them, including saying that he would plant a negative story about them in the press until they paid him $15 million. The evidence documented in profit participation checks and studio accounting statements is clear. Over the years, the Tuohys gave Mr. Orr an equal cut of every penny received from The Blind Side, even recently when Mr. Orr started to threaten them about what he would do unless they paid him an 8-figure windfall, and as part of that shakedown effort, refused to cash the small profit checks the Tuohys gave to him. They still deposited Mr. Orr's equal share into a trust account they set up for him.
And that's what I said. I said there were 220. There were 220 million. What are they gonna like fight over pennies on the dollar over that? Like,
so it seems like is some money
either
grab.
he needs some money or he's really having some mental issues, or it's a little bit of both. But I did say all this came out when his book deal was coming announcing.
You
his
always know that speaking the truth. Yep, that's exactly right.
But it's just hard to like. I would just want to know which one. And then when he regrets it, because he probably will, if they were as genuine like everybody thought they were this whole time.
Yeah.
Is he going to publicly apologize? Because once you drag somebody's name through the mud.
For no reason.
You can't take that back.
No.
Unless you man up and publicly apologize.
I wondered, like, did they still have a relationship, or were they just not talk? Like, did he just go to? I read
they've been estranged for the last decade.
But I want, like, why did he? I don't know. I haven't read the book, but I don't know why he, or why, what caused the estrangement. I don't know.
So we took in a kid in high school that was going through a bad situation, and mom was out of the picture and lived with us for about a year or so, and then when he went back with his mom, he still always came and stayed and spent holidays with us, and we would do like beginning of the year like school clothes stuff, and I even helped him like get stuff ready before he went to college. He got a scholarship and went and played whatever. Once he got like on his feet, it's not that he wasn't, well, I don't know that he wasn't appreciative of that. I think he didn't want to be reminded of how needy he was back then and how he like that was the lowest of his life, and so he would have just rather just ignore like just go and start a new life. Like, that was old, let me start my new life in my new place where I'm independent now. So I wondered if after this movie came out, he was exposed for, not exposed, but like,
How he was portrayed.
well, your mom, like your life, the poor, the poverty you came from. It took this rich white family to get you where you needed to be.
White savior complex.
It took you where you needed to be, and so then did it take his hard work out of it? And so he just wanted to be disassociated from that. So I want to be Michael Orr by myself and not Michael Orr associated with the Tuohys, because does that make me lesser than if I'm always paired with them? Because if you're always paired with them, they're going to look at you like maybe slow Michael Orr from The Blind Side, which I didn't see him as slow, but I don't know. You just never know how people
I know, that's
take
so
things.
sad.
But if they were given out of the kindness of their heart, which it seems like they were, then you don't give to receive back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like to receive that glory for it. So it's probably just hurting them that he's dragging their name through the mud. But I bet they're not shocked. Like, I bet he has shown them things throughout their
Right.
relationship that they're probably not totally shocked from this.
I cannot. That's too bad. Well, moving on to BTK.
Yes.
Y'all. So I had got done working out the other day, and up on my phone, old tweet from News Daddy Brian Enton, and it says, "I'm on the phone with Carrie Rawson." This is BTK's daughter. She tells me she was flown to Oklahoma in June to help investigators in Osage County. Carrie also visited her dad, BTK, in prison for a total of 3 hours in June and July to try to get information from him. And I see that tweet and I was like, what? Mm-hmm. What is even happening? And apparently they were investigating his property. And so his property is owned by the county or whatever. It's owned by the city or something. And so they went, and I guess they contacted the daughter to say, hey, we're going to start digging. I don't know. But they started digging, looking for remains of missing people from Oklahoma. The Oklahoma authorities are in Kansas. Yeah, they were in Kansas looking for ties. And so they ended up searching, and they found items of interest. They did find pantyhose.
Where?
Where they dug. Just
at BTK's house.
At his house is where
old house.
Old house.
They knocked it down. It's just a lot.
Yeah.
Empty lot.
Yep. They said that they found and they said that items of interest were recovered, and they're going to put them through an exam to see if it's relevant to these certain investigations, which they are looking into. And they said the people who they are looking into the cases are Cynthia Dawn Kinney from Pawhuska. And I think there's another one, but I'm going to play you this interview that Carrie, his daughter, had with Ashley Banfield.
Okay.
From News Nation.
Okay.
Volunteered to do something that I can't imagine was very easy for you. After 18 years of not seeing your father, you sat face to face with him. Tell me about it.
Well, starting in January, my dad was releasing news to another outlet about Cynthia Kinney after Osage investigators were going and visiting him. What was happening was that Osage was going in pretty cold, not with much information. And then my father was turning around making phone calls to people after they left, like basically building a case like for why he could be involved in the kidnapping and disappearance of Cynthia Kinney. So this information then was coming out through another outlet. And so I had been on record for months saying, no, it was just the 10, just like all experts would have told you until maybe yesterday that it was just the 10. Then in June, we found out about Shauna Garber. She was found murdered in Southwest Missouri in 1990. And that one actually really more fits his MO with the bondage, the way her body was found and the way she was dumped. So then I really was just wondering what was going on. And I reached out to McDonald County, Missouri, and they quickly got me over to Osage County, Oklahoma, and flew me in within days. And then, I literally met with my Osage team, and then the next morning, I was meeting my dad in prison.
I can't imagine that first moment when you were face to face. I guess a two-pronged question. What was it like for you, and did he say anything to you of value?
Oh, goodness, Ashley. First, we just had a reunion. I mean, I hadn't seen him in 18 years. He hadn't seen me. We had been cut off for 2 years. It had been letters all that time before that. So it took him a minute to process who I was. He's lost 7 inches, and he's in a wheelchair. He's pretty much rotting to his core. And so he didn't even necessarily recognize me. So we had to have a family reunion. And then I just basically laid it out that I was there with Osage investigators, and at that time with McDonald County, that my team literally was in a holding room, and that we were there to talk about serious things. And it was the first time he ever dropped his mask and became BTK in front of me.
So did he tell you anything of value, or did he stonewall you like he's been stonewalling investigators?
Oh, he was running me down rabbit holes. And then when I went back about a month later, he was running me down about 500 rabbit holes where you can't get him to focus. Or, I asked him, do you, if use your intellect here and tell us what you think happened to Shauna Garber, apply that and say, put yourself in somebody's shoes. And he came up with these theories and things, but then he gave me an alibi, and I'm literally believing him, even though I know he's a pathological liar. And then I go meet out with my team, and they're like, he just lied to you. And I was like, prove it to me. And they pulled up a calendar and proved it to me. And then I was like, okay, he's yours, take him, fry him, because he's literally sitting there lying to his daughter that he hadn't seen in 18 years.
They have given him this immunity deal that pertains to this tri-state area where they believe at least these 2 women and maybe more could be. Is there anything that can actually entice your father to give up any goods? Would an immunity deal do anything, given he's in prison for life anyway?
Well, the idea is that if he would take immunity, it would spare my family from having to go through possible grand juries and trials as witnesses, his extended family. It would spare the community. My dad basically said maybe he would like to go out like a Roman candle. It's important to understand, though, that it's not my dad pushing these. He's very unhappy with what's going on. It's the investigators doing the hard, everyday work of investigating that are pushing these cases. And we're coming up against a man that's playing lots of games. My father does not want to be put in a van and woken up in Oklahoma in a holding cell for, the kidnapping of Cynthia Kinney. He wants to live his life out at the prison that he's at. So that's one pressing point, that if he's not going to cooperate, then we're going to do this the legit hard way, and he's going to wake up some morning somewhere he doesn't want to be.
I can't believe that she's never that she never seen it. Was just she's just been writing him letters. I didn't know that.
I wonder why.
I probably she just couldn't face it. I mean, I don't know. I think I don't know. I mean, you
still go see my daddy. I mean,
look,
go see him.
Well, you probably would, but if you think you find out all the stuff he did, all the murders, and how he did it, and how disgusting he was, and how he was wearing all their clothes and posing with them and taking the pic, and just and that's your dad. That's not the guy. That's not who you know. That's not so. So it's maybe you don't want to even. You don't want to know that guy, so you just write letters. And I don't.
Oh, you just made a good point. So you write letters because she didn't want to see the real BTK.
Yeah.
And that's what she got.
And then when she said that was the first time I saw BTK.
Did you just become the FBI?
I did.
That was your application.
I mean,
what
she was and then the BT mask came down or whatever.
What do you think his reasoning is behind taking people down these rabbit holes?
First of all, it's not like him to have not confessed to these. Mm-hmm. He loved it. He gloated and told details and details about every single person. So why would he omit these couple of people? But I guess she said in the interview that he had started to call because he's playing his cat and mouse games again. Uh-huh. So
but
why would it take so
irrelevant right now with Kohberger getting all the
Okay, so
things. Is
but would he
becoming
have
irrelevant? And so
kept those
Yes.
in the back of his his back pocket? Because he's like, okay, here, and then, okay, but when did he get sentenced? When did that all happen? Well, I guess it was 18 years ago. She said she hadn't.
Sometimes they'll withhold some just to always have something to like bargain with.
Yeah.
Or just to not be irrelevant, because once they know everything and they don't need you anymore, all the book deals are done, like you're just sitting there rotting in a cell. So maybe he just had them in his back pocket for when he needed to become relevant again.
And with Kohberger and all of that coming out, and he's connected to what's her face, Catherine Ramsland, who wrote the book about BTK and spent all this time with him, probably had a baby with him or something. She was like obsessed with him.
So yeah. So either that,
and so he probably found out about that and was like, oh.
Or he's lying just to be relevant for a period of time. Right? So either he did it and he's lying. Okay, so either he did it and didn't tell them so that they can come back and he can be relevant again, but he's telling all these tales so that it can last longer. Because if he just confessed the first day you go in, they're going to be done.
Yeah.
It'll be over with real quick.
Yeah, they won't need him. Now they need him.
Daughter may come back again. And, daughter may come back again and somebody else may come back again. So maybe he's just liking the attention that he has not gotten in a long time.
Because now he's once again is having control over something.
Yeah.
It's so weird how that you can just still have this power from being, and you're just, it's so creepy. He is the worst of the. He is the worst. I mean, I think he's worse than Ted Bundy.
But I now already forgot how. Oh yeah, he's gross. I already forgot how they said they tied these people to him.
I don't know. They didn't say.
Like what made them
think
even
that
check.
from what she said, he had been he had started calling and doing his kind, because he used to do that with the media, and he would send letters to the newspaper or to the news anchors and have his little signature BTK. And so unless he just, like you said, he wanted to become relevant again, so he started making calls to the outlets saying that there was this and there was, something's hidden here. You should go, maybe you need to go dig over here. You might find something. And then maybe that's when they brought the daughter in and they're like, hey, go talk to him. He's making these threats or whatever to the news station, whatever.
The question would be, would he have ties to that area, or would they have ties to Park City or Wichita or wherever he was? Like, how could they have crossed paths?
Who
They're gonna make that connection.
Oh,
BTK
and the victims.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they have. I didn't look into that part.
I don't expect you to know, but I'm just wondering how this is gonna all.
Unless they're just people who have been missing in that area for a while. And they're just cold cases, and they're reopening cold cases.
Yeah, but you just don't tie them to a serial killer unless they have ties to that area. Like, that they would have been in the Wichita area at the time BTK was killing. Mm-hmm. Or unless you figured out that BTK would have been in the area where they were at the time of their death.
Bryanton it's like a 10-minute interview with one of the sheriffs, and he kind of goes into detail about these things. I need to put that somewhere.
Gosh. Goodness. BTK found a way to be back in the news.
I cannot believe it, but it's
in a wheelchair? What happened?
I don't know. He probably got graped so many times, I guess. I don't know.
Their health just deteriorates in there.
I mean, how old is he now? I don't even know. And if you don't know who he is, he's Dennis Rader, BTK. Bind, torture, kill.
Go back to episode. Caroline did a 2-part episode on that one.
Y'all, it's a good one. You need to go listen to it.
Go back. Okay.
He was born in 1945.
Oh, hell, he's about
20, 23, 1945. He's 78.
Oh, he's got a little bit of time. He's got some time.
He's
Maybe not in jail.
78. I can't believe he didn't even like. He didn't want to kill himself. He just wanted to be relevant again.
He was waiting for this right here. You know how patient they are. Maybe
he was
Ramsland
one of
will
the
contact him. That's what he wants. He wants Catherine Ramsland.
He was one of the big patient ones, like because he would go wait in closets
and dormant. Like remember
yes,
when him and
he
his
went
kids
dormant
were
for
little?
like 20 years, or maybe like 10, or while
the kids were young.
Yeah.
That's a different level of
yes.
Woo! Good stuff. All the news. We're just going to count this as your full episode, too. So listen to this twice because I don't have a full episode for Thursday yet. Maybe I'll spit one out. Dang it. Okay, y'all. Go and rate us, review us, and subscribe to us. And share this episode with somebody who loves some BTK.
Oh.
Or loves true crime.
Or loves anything and
anything in the news.
And if you go on a run or a hike in a trail, bring somebody or bring some mace or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't go anywhere alone.
Don't forget to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF.
Down to find the murderer. Bye, y'all.
Bye.